ticket. Marquette and Wisconsin on a frigid afternoon here in Madison. Separated by just 74 miles. The Golden Eagles of Marquette out of the Big East. The Wisconsin Badgers currently 9th in the country at 9-0 to start the season. Alongside Mike Kelly, I'm Brian Anderson. And let's take a look at our Buffalo Wild Wings starting five for the Wisconsin Badgers. And Mike Kelly, the same starting five for Bo Ryan. Why change at this point?
I think the key is in the middle there. Josh Gosser was sensational on Wednesday against Virginia. Brings so much toughness. Now Marquette's going to apply a lot of pressure. Josh will be key to handling that pressure.
It's been a struggle in the early part of the schedule for Marquette. They're 5-3. Buzz Williams puts this five on the floor to get it started.
Yeah, and once again in the middle, Jamil Wilson will play the four. Marquette runs their best offense through the four spot. Jamil Wilson, a dynamic offensive player.
Buzz Williams, year number 6 at Marquette. He's been to the NCAA tournament in his first 5 years at the university. Took him to an Elite 8 appearance last year. There's Bo Ryan, now a member of the 300-win club in Big Ten play. Got that in a grind-em-out victory over Virginia on the road on Wednesday. Ready to tip it here at the Kohl Center. Near capacity crowd. May be a capacity crowd when it's all said and done. And away we go. Marquette has first possession, and we're looking forward to this one. So great of you to be with us today on the Big Ten Network.
Brian, on this end of the floor, really curious to see how Wisconsin, if they're effective keeping Marquette out of the middle. Buzz Williams loves those paint touches. They've got to go side, top, side. Get that ball rotation so they can get inside.
Well, Marquette has had a week to prepare. They had a rough go out west. Ended up in the championship game of the Wooden Legacy. Lost in that championship game. There are 3 losses this year. San Diego State on the road at Arizona State. They lost at home to Ohio State. Meanwhile, the Badgers are rolling. Maybe one of their better squads they put together in quite some time here in a 9-0 start.
I don't think anybody would have suspected Wisconsin be 9-0 right now. Very talented team offensively, but what surprises me is how far they've come on the defensive end, putting in their best performance in their last game against Virginia.
Shot clock down to 7. Trayvon Jackson finds plenty of room in the lane.
Now Jackson continues to be that guy who at the end of shot clock opportunities will look to create his own shot. Just a breakdown there by Marquette defensively.
Juan Anderson in the starting five today for Buzz Williams. Devontae Gardner is one of their best scorers. He comes off the bench. That one was swatted away. Kaminsky got a piece of that one as well. And Derek Wilson having all kind of trouble in the paint against the Badgers.
You know, Derek Wilson's done a nice job for Marquette, but he's a little limited offensively. He's trying to create his shot and make something happen there. But inside with Kaminsky at 7 feet, that's a hard shot to get off.
Sam Decker, Jamil Wilson. That is a great matchup today as Bruss lets it fly. So Jackson and Bruss put the Badgers on the board quickly today. And a 5-0 start.
That is the one thing. Shooting three-pointers, Wisconsin does so well.
O'Toole strong in the paint, and he'll go to the line. And if Marquette's going to be successful, they're going to have to get a whole lot of that today.
Yeah, between O'Toole and Gardner inside, even Jamil Wilson, we saw him post up Jackson on their first possession. But anytime Marquette can get inside, the thing about Wisconsin, they do not give up a lot of opportunities in the paint. And you've got to find a way, and talking with Marquette coaching staff, of rotating the ball before you go inside.
O'Toole to the line. Nigel Hayes checks in for Wisconsin. Kaminsky takes a quick seat. That was the point of emphasis for both coaches, both Buzz Williams and Bo Ryan, saying how Marquette does offensively in the paint could determine what happens here today.
Derek Wilson on the ball here for Marquette. A lot of people will remember 2 years ago, he got thrust into some unexpected minutes and really performed great. Bothered Jordan Taylor pretty much the entire game. Marquette was able to get a road win.
That was Wilson's first career start at Marquette. 2011 as Nigel Hayes takes O'Toole, has it swatted away. Decker comes away with it, and Gosser is tripped. Thomas will get the foul.
Have not seen that pressure. I was wondering exactly how much pressure Marquette would be able to provide on the perimeter. I think one of the keys Marquette has had in terms of throwing Wisconsin out of their rhythm offensively is the pressure they can apply. We haven't really seen it so far.
Gardner wanted to check in. Buzz Williams changes his mind. So he'll buy him one more possession, and then he'll be in quickly, you can figure.
Coach always has the last say in those calls there, doesn't he? Try to check yourself in. I never tried that.
Interestingly enough, Marquette is looking for their 3rd consecutive win in this series. Winning on this floor 2 years ago. Won on their home floor by 10 last year. There's a walk and a turnover. Some early minutes here for the freshman Nigel Hayes.
It's a real nice move from Nigel Hayes, actually, minus the travel. I didn't actually see it. That's the 2nd time this year I've seen Nigel Hayes get called for that travel. It might be the speed at which he makes that move that makes it look like a travel to the officials.
What does a week of preparation for Marquette do for them compared to Wisconsin, who played on Wednesday in a tough matchup on the road against Virginia?
Well, I think the prep time is always good when you're playing a game like this. Wisconsin, in their disciplined way, they go about things. The more reps you have, the more time you can prepare, the better. Let your guys know what you want to do to take care of it.
Jamil Wilson is on the board for Marquette. And Devontae Gardner awaiting his time on the floor.
It's probably the smallest lineup you're going to see Wisconsin in, with Decker at the 4 and Hayes at the 5. Looks like a zone here.
And the shot clock down to 6 before a whistle on Jamil Wilson called by Jim Burr.
So the interesting matchup here now with the small lineup I referenced for Wisconsin is Otule in the middle is not going to be able to chase as well. Now he's going to go to the bench for Gardner, but that's the matchup problem. Now Wisconsin's playing Decker at the 4 quite a bit, but he's so good at going outside, knocking down that 3. A lot of 4 guys aren't comfortable defending him on the perimeter.
So Wilson is out as well after the foul. Jawan Johnson checks in, the freshman from Memphis for Marquette. Marquette still searching for rotation mates, trying to figure out the right combinations. Even 8 games into the season, no question Wisconsin is right where they want to be with their starters and their 3 reserves. As Hayes pretty up and under. Nigel Hayes is on the board for Wisconsin.
Boy, for a freshman, doesn't have a freshman's body and has got such poise and patience. When he gets that ball, he's looking to score, but he doesn't rush anything.
6'7" freshman out of Toledo, went to Whitmer High School. Average over 15.5 there, just about 9 rebounds a game. And quite a steal for Bo Ryan. It looked like Hayes was headed to Ohio State. Ends up here in Madison.
They really like Hayes. Bo Ryan called him maybe the brightest player he's ever coached.
Shot clock down to 5. Gardner's got to go. Hayes matches up. And a fall away from Gardner off the glass. Anderson fouls. Badger ball. First break of the day. 15:22 remaining in the first. Nigel Hayes getting some early minutes, making it count. Great matchup today. Marquette, Wisconsin from the Kohl Center. Wisconsin 7-5 over Marquette. Great to have you with us on Big Ten Network. Brian Anderson with Mike Kelly, and this is a great rivalry as far as December matchups go across college basketball. This is one of the best. It goes back to 1917, this rivalry.
You know, all the games are supposed to be the same as a player, but they're not. And for me, this was my Super Bowl. I grew up in Milwaukee, in that area, was a ball boy from Marquette, came to Wisconsin, and I'm telling you, Brian, I was so excited to play in this game. And there's some in-state players on both sides, both rosters. I know they're a little more amped up for this game than they normally would be.
Yeah, there are 9 active players combined from Wisconsin between the 2 teams here today. Badgers with the early lead to the first time. Finds some space and flushes it home.
How about that for the quick hitter out of timeout? Just a simple backdoor cut.
First time we've heard from the crowd here at the Kohl Center today. By the way, it is very cold in the Kohl Center. We've got some heating problems here in this venue. Players were trying to keep themselves warm or get themselves warmed up before the game. A lot cooler in here than it normally is for an indoor venue. Nigel Hayes, nope, too strong. And Johnson pulls down the rebound. See if Marquette has a quick answer here.
Yeah, Burton into the game for Marquette. Now, he had a really nice stretch their last game against San Diego State. He will look to score. Decker matched up on him. It will be interesting to see who wins that matchup.
Speaking of Wisconsin natives, Deontay Burton wearing number 30 in blue.
He doesn't look like a freshman, does he?
Man, oh man, is he put together. Shot clock down to 7. And we're seeing the shot clock get under double digits quite often already. Gardner, and his baby hook, and it's in and out. Decker pulls down the board.
See how disciplined Hayes was there. Did not get off his feet. Devontae Gardner does so much to try to get the defender to jump, even a little bit. Gets you off balance, and then he can score. Hayes is very disciplined there.
Kaminsky with an early foul. He sits. Hayes getting a lot of early minutes here. There's Brust trying to take Johnson, and there's a foul call, part of the new rules. That's the news today with Bo Ryan and the Badgers. Interesting news in that George Marshall, who was the starting point guard last year, has decided to transfer a mic. So he's going to leave in this first semester, so he'll be eligible next spring, wherever he decides to transfer. That's quite a shock to the Badger program.
Yeah, if you go back just a year, at about this time, we were still trying to figure out for Wisconsin whether Trayvon Jackson or Marshall would end up being the full-time point guard. And Jackson has sort of secured that role, and now Bronson Koenig getting a lot of minutes. George Marshall did it the right way, went in, talked with Bo Ryan, and sort of decided that's what he wanted to do.
Koenig is in the game for the Badgers. And the foul belongs to the freshman Burton. There's Koenig out of lacrosse, two-time state champion. And I'm sure as George Marshall looks around the lay of the land here with the Badgers and sees a guy like Koenig emerge and get the playing time, he has decided to move on. And the Badgers program, Bo Ryan saying they'll do all they can to help George Marshall transition and get to his next college.
I wonder if UIC with Howard Moore, the former Wisconsin assistant, might be a landing spot.
That's a good call.
George Marshall from Chicago.
Gosser kicks it out to Kaminsky. A little short. Rebound Duque, and it's turned over, and that's going to be a foul on Trayvon Jackson. Duque pulled down a big board right there, but Jackson turns it over. Now get involved in the Twitter conversation around today's game. Go to btn.com/connect. You can find our hashtags periodically in the upper right of your screen. BTN Connect presented by Buick. So the foul on Jackson sends him to the bench. And the Badgers up 4. Marquette with the basketball. The Golden Eagles trying to get Jamil Wilson involved.
Look at the size here now for Marquette.
As Gardner runs over Josh Gosser, an offensive foul.
Nice play by Gosser. How often does that happen where Josh Gosser just gets in the right spot? Such great anticipation defensively. He leaves his own man, Jamil Wilson, to come on over and pick up that charge. And you see it so often. I mean, last year we talked about Gosser and him being gone with that knee injury, what it would take away from Wisconsin. But as much as that was talked about, I think it was even underplayed. As you see him now, how important he is to this Wisconsin team.
Gosser in that ACL tear last year actually had multiple ligament damage in the knee, in the left knee. And that one's taken away. Here's Juan Anderson. Can he finish it? He can. Juan Anderson with a steal and a bucket in transition.
Nice job by Anderson. He's so long. He's got great length. Able to get in those passing lanes. And again, I go back to the size now. With Anderson on the floor, Jamil Wilson, these guys are playing the 2 and 3.
Massive 5 right now. Derek Wilson at 6'2", but other than that, you're 6'6" and above for the other 4 on the floor, including the 6'11" Otule. Gosser lets one fire from 3. No, Gardner pulls down the rebound.
And you say Gardner pulls down the rebound. That's where I think this size, we'll see exactly if it can work to Marquette's favor. But they wanted to win the glass, the battle of the glass, I should say.
That's blocked by Kaminsky. Here comes Koenig. Gives it off to Dukin for 3. Not there. The tap in, no. And Wilson secures it. Good activity on the glass defensively for Marquette.
And we had talked to the Marquette coaching staff. They really felt like the team that wins this matchup in previous years has been the team that rebounds the best.
Dukin giving up a lot of body to Devontae Gardner, and Gardner counts. He'll go to the line and a chance for 3. So crafty inside is Devontae Gardner.
Devontae Gardner continuing to do what he does best inside. Draw fouls. Very crafty at scoring. getting the and one, a chance to go to the line.
To you by State Farm. For auto, home, life, and banking, get to a better state. By Buffalo Wild Wings, your destination for Big Ten Network games. And by K Jewelers, every kiss begins with K. Single digits outside the Kohl Center, but a bunch of guys here in this game that are used to this cold weather. And how about all of the Wisconsin natives that match up today? Marquette has 4 that are on the active roster. Wisconsin featuring 5 Wisconsin native players. That's what makes this rivalry so great. And not that they recruit the same kind of player necessarily, but it always brings a little something extra when you have so many from the state of Wisconsin matching up here.
You can bet those guys have friends, family, old coaches, everybody in the stands, and you want to play well, and you want to have those bragging rights for another year.
Marquette takes the lead on the three-point play by Devontae Gardner. Sam Decker, 4 points, backs his way in with the left, not there, and Anderson pulls down the rebound. Gardner is just such a load in the paint.
Offensively, when Gardner gets that ball, he really finds a way to get his body into you.
And that foul is going to belong to Juan Anderson. Marquette has John Dawson, their backup point guard, in the game.
Been a pretty tight whistle so far. A few over-the-back calls already. A couple hand check calls.
Well, you got to appreciate what Buzz Williams has been able to do at Marquette. Sweet 16 last 4 years. Only Kansas, Ohio State, Florida, the other 3 programs to do that over the last 4 seasons.
I was curious to see how Marquette's pressure defense would affect in terms of fouls. The new rules, as we've talked about in previous games, the point of emphasis, not new rules, but the point of emphasis really calling that freedom of movement, not letting you get hands on people. They're trying to clean up play, get the scoring up, and it's going to change the way people have to defend.
That 7th foul on Marquette sends Jackson to the line. Juan Anderson has 2 fouls already, and with 10:48 remaining in the first half, we're going to see a lot of free throws from the Badgers. Jackson hits them both, and Wisconsin back on top. Jamil Wilson running the point for Marquette at 6'7". Jake Thomas, the three-point shooter, is in for Marquette, and there's a whistle. Nigel Hayes called for the foul, his first.
Looking over at the Marquette bench, we have not seen Todd Mayo in this game. We're not told of any illness or injury.
Gardner battling strong. O'Toole can't miss from close range, and it's Jackson who comes away with it. Now, Mayo is certainly part of their rotation. As Jackson knocks it down, a couple of free throws, he follows it up with a field goal.
See, Marquette can try and push the pace a little bit here.
Jamil Wilson, and he is fouled on the floor before the shot by Trayvon Jackson. That's going to be a couple on the Badger point guard, and that's going to mean Koenig is back in.
Well, watch Jackson here, though. He's so quick. I mean, that is just a nasty crossover. He leaves Jamil Wilson in the dust. And we have seen Trayvon Jackson from that elbow. That seems to be his spot, right or left elbow. He knocks it down, but fouls are going to put him on the bench right now.
Gardner able to finish that one off after the out-of-bounds play. Close to a foul as well by Hayes.
Yeah, there's quite a bit of contact there.
Bronson Koenig will run the point for Wisconsin. Koenig and Decker, teammates on an AAU team in Wisconsin. And Decker lines up the 3.
I tell you what, you cannot relax when Sam Decker has the basketball. He's got great size. I think he's finishing better at the rim and absorbing contact, but still deadly from outside the arc.
Gardner backs his way in. Hayes standing strong, but Gardner against the friendly rim.
That's about all you can do against Gardner. He's just so good, and he's got such a nice touch. If you get off your feet at all and jump, you're going to get a foul called on you.
9 points already for Devontae Gardner. The 6th man of the year in the Big East last year. Big East now a 10-team league. The new Big East. Marquette in the preseason predicted to win the Big East, and they're not off to the start they were hoping for at 5-3. Hayes goes up and under. No, but there for the foul. Sam Decker more active on the boards these days.
And that is going to make his head coach very happy. Sam Decker, a guy they've been working with rebounding defense-wise. I thought he was pretty active against Marquette. Takes a gamble there on defense.
That's a travel.
But they want Sam Decker to get active, even if he's not going to get the rebound. Get his hand on some balls. A nice job there crashing the glass and getting an extra 2 points.
Decker with 7 quick ones. Substitutions here for Marquette.
Still no Todd Mayo. No.
Juwan Johnson getting those minutes. And Deonte Burton is in. We talked to Buzz Williams for a while today. He made no mention of Todd Mayo and his status today. There's certainly not been any discussion about him not being available. Have to assume at this point it is a coach's decision. Mayo had a big game against Wisconsin 2 years ago here as a freshman. Koenig for 3, short, and Burton rips down the rebound.
You can watch Marquette on offense here. They want to swing the ball around the court. They're going to get their best opportunities inside if they can make Wisconsin move side to side.
Thomas, who had a good 3-point shooting game on the road against Arizona State. A little long there. Badgers on a little bit of a spurt. Decker is headed to the line. It's on the floor. And free throw coming up for Sam Decker. We take a timeout. Wisconsin by 2 over Marquette. And honored after his 300th career win at Wisconsin. He has 683 career wins as a coach, 300 of those coming in the Big Ten. And Mike, he joins some pretty exclusive category here.
How about those top 3 there with Izzo and Knight, Katie, Rance McCracken there, Judd Heathcote. That is good company.
It's so impressive to think about. Bo Ryan was 53 years of age when he first got this job at Wisconsin. 2001. He said it was pretty easy. Pat Richter, the AD, said, Bo? He said, yeah, Pat. You ready? Yep. And that was it.
I think he knew the answer to it. Yes. As Bo said, nobody turns down this job, and what a job he has done.
Just a little check on the score. There's been a discrepancy here. The 18-14 score is the correct score. So had to sort that out during the timeout. As O'Toole and Gardner there to clean it up for him.
But O'Toole may have gotten away with a little travel there inside. Good job by Gardner just crashing the glass. That's one thing Buzz Williams has talked about Gardner. He's really good at getting rebounds on his own misses. He wants him to get better at rebounding other people's misses.
Gardner's having a big game. Has 11 is Decker. And a friendly rim. Wow. Sam Decker. Another 3-pointer. Took a couple of hops off the iron.
That is about as friendly a bounce as you're going to get. It was Gardner who was matched up on Sam Decker. That's going to be a tough one for Gardner if that's the plan.
Gardner just backing his way, and Koenig got a piece of that. And here comes Koenig, helping out Kaminsky defensively. Finds Brust. Short. Koenig the board.
Boy, is he good.
And he'll let one go. That one's short again. A couple of his threes missed on the front iron.
Koenig really good with passing, and even some of his fake passes, getting people out of position.
And Koenig pulls down another board, wants to push it a little bit. There's Josh Gossard. No. And who's that off of? That'll be Kaminsky. So Marquette basketball. Well, Koenig is a guy that the Badgers like a lot. And Mike, a couple of players here, Nigel Hayes and Bronson Koenig, a couple of guys that might have been headed elsewhere. Maybe North Carolina for Koenig, maybe Ohio State for Hayes, but they end up in Madison to get signed for the program.
Yeah, really nice job by both staff, recruiting Koenig, getting him to Wisconsin, and I think a great decision. You watch him play, already earning minutes, Brian. As a freshman, tough to do for a point guard under Bo Ryan. But you guys have done it. They've been special players, and you've got to be able to make good decisions and defend at this level as a freshman. That's hard to do.
Koenig making an impact in his freshman year. And with Trayvon Jackson on the bench with a couple of fouls. Some extended minutes here in the first half. Wilson matched up by Decker. And the jump hook is not there. Here comes Decker with a rebound. And he'll push it. Decker splits through two, and that's going to be a block. Thomas will be called for the foul, and Decker is headed to the line.
It's just so hard. Part of the emphasis on the rules and the hand check also had to do with getting a charge call, a block charge call. You can see Thomas there just sliding as there's two defenders. Watch Thomas as he goes to our left. And that is all it takes to put Decker on the line.
Decker is so good in the open court. Tough to get a charge call these days. College basketball. Well, BTN has you covered for tonight's football championship game between Ohio State and Michigan State. The pre- and post-game shows live from Indy starting at 6:30 Eastern, 5:30 Central on BTN. And don't forget the big game on Fox starting at 7 o'clock Central, 8 Eastern. Gus Johnson on the call, along with Charles Davis. So Kaminsky and Decker head to the bench. Hayes and Dukin in, as Thomas will take a seat for Marquette as well. And Juwan Johnson back in for the Golden Eagles.
Watch Josh Gosser and Jamil Wilson, two guys I spotlighted at the top of the show. They might get Hayes here. I think they did get Hayes for a foul. But it's Gosser matched up against Jamil Wilson. What a matchup that is. Wilson got a couple inches on Gosser. Both really heavy players, though. Leaders of their respective teams. And that's going to bring Kaminsky back into the game.
That's the second foul on Hayes. So Bo Ryan will protect those fouls in this first half. Well, the Gosser-Wilson matchup has Burton strong inside and a foul. And if that's on Kaminsky, that'll be his second, and it is. Boy, Burton's so strong in the paint.
Well, I thought Burton might pick up one. He was really clearing out hard, asking for the basketball there before on Dukin. Let's watch. You see those guys go up. I think Kaminsky, when he put his arm down, might be what got it. You're allowed to go straight up. They call it the law of verticality, the rule of verticality. You essentially own the space from the floor to the ceiling, so you can jump. That's not a foul.
Burton hits both free throws, and the Badgers forced to go to plan B with their post, and Evan Anderson got foul trouble with Kaminsky and Hayes. Dukin out to Gosser. Koenig looking for help.
Yeah, you can see just out of rhythm right now. Evan Anderson not had a lot of minutes so far this year. Nice pass.
Well, Dukin just couldn't quite get there. Led him a little too much.
I should say good idea. Just a little ahead, but the backdoor cut was there. Here you see it. Nice
one beat.
Yeah, nice recognition. Just a little bit off.
Now Bo Ryan counters with Decker. So Dukin to the bench. Marquette has done what they wanted to do. They have the Wisconsin big men in foul trouble. And now Gardner will go to work against the big-bodied Evan Anderson. And there is a double foul. What do we have?
There's a double foul. I think that's right. That's going to be 2 on Gardner.
Jim Burr, he got lost in amongst the trees there for a moment for me. I didn't see him call. I saw one fist go up. I didn't see the other.
But, you know, you watch this. You see this happen all the time. You see the bump from Anderson trying to hold his ground. You really got to lean on Gardner. Gardner's going in. That's the one spot. You see a lot of defenders go for the flop. They do 1-2 stops, and then all of a sudden they try to get the foul. I never like when they give that charge call there. A double foul I've never even seen called in that situation. But I don't know exactly how you officiate that. There's a lot of contact.
That ball was tipped by Gosser off the back of the backboard.
You can't expect Evan Anderson just to give ground. He's got to stand his ground. You can't let the offensive player continue to bang.
Well, that certainly hurts Marquette as Gardner has to go to the bench. Buzz Williams was screaming at Jim Burr, trying to get his attention for an explanation that never came. Now an offensive foul on the screen as Gosser hits the deck. And the Badgers will have the ball. That was a costly possession for Marquette.
That was a couple fouls. Let's watch Derek Wilson here as he just goes for the handoff. You know, that's a lot like Marquette will run those dribble handoffs. So we want to get in the way, maybe not knock a guy down, like wide receivers running those crossing patterns. Just a little too much contact there from Derek Wilson.
Decker thought he had that one. He was running away from it. Wilson will back it out. I don't see Marquette get much in transition.
No.
And they're not a team that's running like Buzz Williams would like them to or has been accustomed to in the past. It's a different kind of Marquette team. They're only averaging 71 points per game.
Well, their best offense is Gardner, and he's not going to score a lot in transition.
Blocked by Anderson from behind. Burton comes away with it. Shot clock reset.
Boy, look at Anderson and O'Toole. Those are big bodies, really working hard down low.
And more contact away from the ball.
Going to be 2 on Anderson.
Yeah, that's going to catch his second. Well, got a timeout on the floor. Wisconsin by 4, having to pull the Evan Anderson card. Comes up with a big block. He's in this game now. Well, Wisconsin has lost just 7 non-conference home games in the Bo Ryan era. One of them came 2 years ago. Todd Mayo had 14 points. 2011, Buzz Williams snapped a 23-game winning streak here at the Kohl Center. Then last year at the Bradley Center, Marquette, a 10-point win over Wisconsin. They're looking for their 3rd consecutive victory. Interesting, we saw Todd Mayo from 2011. That was his freshman year. He has not been seen today on the floor. He has not played 1 minute.
As we've mentioned, no word on exactly why he's not been in. Something's up. He's averaging 10 points on the year and is certainly an offensive weapon for this Marquette team.
Mayo had a 20-point game against Southern to start the season, coming off a 5-point game against San Diego State where he had 4 fouls, and he has not played yet as O'Toole hits a couple. And Marquette is within 2. Both teams in the bonus. Wisconsin has been there since just about the 11-minute mark remaining in this first half.
Both teams with 4 players that have 2 fouls. And I think both coaches trying to keep those 4 on the bench for as much as they can.
Now the key ones for Marquette, Devontae Gardner. Deontay Burton also with 2 fouls. Anderson's going to let a 3 go. That's short, and it's Brust who comes away with the rebound, and the shot clock did not reset.
I think it got a piece of the rim.
Tom Eads is over to get it straight. Buzz Williams said it didn't hit the rim. We have the means to prove that one way or the other. It looked to me like it hit the front of the rim.
Just caught a little bit. Let's see. Yeah, you can see it start to go straight down. Didn't get much. How about Evan Anderson, though? I'm sure he was not expecting to play this many minutes when he showed up at the Kohl Center. But he's already gotten in there. He's mixing it up. Not afraid to pull the trigger on an outside shot.
And just carrying over the foul trouble discussion, Nigel Hayes and Frank Kaminsky both with 2 fouls. Trey Jackson has 2 as well. That's forced Anderson into the picture, and it's forced Koenig into some extra minutes at the point guard position. So the officiating crew will reset the clock to 33, the shot clock. It did hit the front of the rim. Bo Borowski confirms for us.
So you take a couple seconds off for the time after it should have been reset that Wisconsin gathered the ball with their offensive rebound.
And Wisconsin basketball with a 2-point lead, just under 3 minutes remaining in the first half. This outstanding rivalry, Marquette and Wisconsin. I-94 rivalry. Anderson kicks it back. Gosser for 3. That's short. Gosser gets his own. And Gosser goes strong, and he is fouled. Free throws for the junior Gosser.
Well, nice job by Gosser following his shot, but a mistake, a breakdown there by Jamil Wilson, who tried to challenge and ran past Gosser on that three-point shot.
It's been a long drought for both teams without a field goal here. Wisconsin's is pushing near 5 minutes. Marquette a little over 5 minutes. I've seen some free throws here recently. Don't forget, coming up, our State Farm halftime report live from FanFest at the Big Ten Football Championship in Indianapolis. 2.5 to go in the first half. I think a tight one here.
Yeah, both teams just trying to get to halftime. All the foul trouble. It's going to be 3 on Anderson.
The free throws coming up.
O'Toole's been pretty good from the line so far. Not sure if he's missed one yet. He's got a nice stroke. I know you saw him put in an incredible 3 for 3 so far. He has. As sure as I say that, he misses that one.
That's on you.
Yep.
Zach Bohannon checking in for Anderson.
You were witness a few weeks back to O'Toole really putting in a hard workout, getting his free throws up.
You know, O'Toole is just 19 for 40 from the free throw line this year. There's been an area of concern. He figures to get to the line a lot. He's hit 4 out of 5 today. He does put in the work. He spends not just time shooting free throws, but he shoots a free throw, then runs to the wall and back. So he's trying to create a little fatigue to go along with his free throw shooting. He's got a great motor, great work ethic. Buzz Williams has very high praise and speaks with reverence about Chris O'Toole and what he's meant to the program. I don't know many players that are still active that received the Lifetime Achievement Award, which O'Toole received before the year started. Shot clock down to 6. Wow. That was blocked twice at the rim. No reset. Got to get one up. Pressed. And a whistle and a shot clock violation. Great defensive stand for Marquette.
Boy, Zach Bohannon went to the rim, and 3 jerseys. Watch this. As Bohannon with a nice pump fake. Look at everybody converge. Burton, Wilson. You had O'Toole behind. Not a lot of opportunity to get that shot up for Bohannon.
Badgers with 5 turnovers. Marquette just 3. They protected him well. Haven't seen much pressure from Marquette. Very little in transition today for either team. Wilson takes Decker. Beautiful. Jamil Wilson brings Marquette within a point.
Nice awareness by Wilson. Decker not wanting to pick up a foul there. Sort of forced to retreat. Not a lot that he could do.
Another low-scoring game for Wisconsin. Koenig for 3. Got it. Bronson Koenig turns a 3.
Boy, you can see Koenig really starting to hit his stride. Nice job by Gosser finding him. But between Koenig and Gosser and Bruss, Jackson's been out quite a bit with his foul trouble. And Koenig has stepped in real nice.
Badgers have hit 4 3-pointers today. Marquette's only attempted 1. They missed it. Wilson, that's a 2, and Jamil Wilson starting to make his presence known.
As Brad Autry mentioned to us before the game, they run their best offense, Marquette did, is through the floor. They want Wilson to be that dynamic player that Jimmy Butler was and Jay Crowder was.
Wisconsin by a point with the ball. 35 left. Here's Decker off.
That is nasty. You want to step in and take a charge on that, Brian?
And Marquette take the timeout. They're on their feet at the Kohl Center as the super soft Sam Decker rips one down, goes right by Burton. And an emphatic dunk at the basket. And that is today's Bass Pro Shops in the net. Wasn't in there long. This was an extreme flush.
There are some things you can teach, and others you just have the ball, you put them into places, and then the player's got to make some plays. That was a really nice play by Sam Decker.
On the Naismith watch list, Sam Decker had a terrific freshman season last season. He was the MVP of the Cancun Challenge just recently. And a double-double in the championship game, 21 points and 12 rebounds. And he was a key in the comeback against Florida as well. And although statistically the stat sheet didn't show so much from Decker against Virginia, maybe had one of his best all-around games Wednesday.
I thought his activity off the ball was really, really good for him. I thought he did a nice job of getting to the glass, getting his hands on balls, keeping plays alive. A lot of the little things that this coaching staff has worked with him on. And he continues to put in work and try and get better, round out his game as a player.
Well, Decker has 13 points to go along with 6 rebounds so far today. Marquette, one last shot here before the half. Down 3. And here's Jamil Wilson for 3. No. And the rebound, Gosser. And that's how the first half ends here at the Kohl Center in Madison. So the Badgers lead by 3. Decker brings them to their feet. State Farm halftime report coming up live from FanFest. Here's Mike Hall. Ryan looking for a career win at Wisconsin number 301. Marquette would love to keep him from that. Badgers lead by 3 over the Golden Eagles of Marquette. There's Todd Mayo. We just got word at the half that Todd Mayo, because of a violation of team rules, will not play today. So we wondered where he was in the first half. Now we have our answer.
Interesting. 2 years ago, similar situation with Junior Cadogan, who was out. Derek Wilson stepping into those minutes. Happening yet again here, but Marquette certainly could have used him offensively. His ability to shoot the ball, low-scoring first half, and the extra fouls as both teams had foul trouble.
Wisconsin ball, first possession of the second half. Foul trouble could be a story here as Kaminsky up and under, and O'Toole lets him go right by, and the Badgers up 5 coming out of the halftime break with a bucket.
Brian, anytime I see a big man that's got the patience to make a move like that, not travel, not panic when his first option is taken away, as O'Toole did, I'm always impressed.
O'Toole misses, and that is a travel. O'Toole walks. Kaminsky playing with 2 fouls as well, going right at O'Toole.
This is the part of Frank Kaminsky's game that has really improved. Always was a good three-point shooter, but he doesn't rely on it. You see him go to his left shoulder, not there. Nice step through, and the patience to score.
He did as much work on Juan Anderson in that possession that he did on Chris O'Toole. And Juan Anderson trying to cover the lane from side to side to no avail.
But a three-quarters court pressure here from Marquette.
And Wisconsin breaks it quickly. Gosser, he'll take it up high off the glass. No. And Thomas the rebound. Derek Wilson going hard at Jackson, misses badly. O'Toole, yes.
That's a big cleanup for O'Toole. He's not going to try and score much outside of that couple-foot zone there.
So impressive what O'Toole does. He's had a knee surgery. He's had surgery on each foot over the years. He's in his 6th year. As Kaminsky coming out fast in his second half.
Boy, you get the sense Kaminsky right now sees a matchup that he thinks he can take advantage of on the offensive end.
Buzz Williams has already made the call for Devontae Gardner. He'll check in on a whistle. Wilson got himself stuck. And Jamil Wilson against Decker. Kaminsky keeps it alive, and here comes Jackson. And the Badgers trying to push it a little bit. Bruss for 3. Yes.
Brian, you see this Wisconsin team, just their offense runs smoother when Trayvon Jackson is in. They're really good at distributing and finding the open man, especially in transition.
That is a quick burst for the Wisconsin Badgers coming out of the halftime locker room. Then Bruss, 6 points, knocks the 3 down. Hit 4 already in the second half quickly, and don't forget about his big game, a career best and a program best, 43. Frank Kaminsky in a night he will never forget, November 19th against North Dakota. 43 points, still the most in Division I this season.
43 points on 19 shots. Not a selfish kid. He's not going to force his shot. Only missed 3 that entire night. But he has got the skill set. He has added the inside game to go along with that 3-point shot.
And a little dance class reference there for Frank Kaminsky. Hit 6 3-pointers in that game. He's had a couple of field goals made here in the second half, after coming up with a 0 in the first half in foul trouble. Wisconsin has scored 9 of the last 11 points. Shot clock down to 2, and Wilson just does get it off. Jamil Wilson, the offensive board and the putback, and Marquette needed that one.
Yeah, that was a good defensive possession by Wisconsin, able to not really give anything good. Derek Wilson's the guy they probably want shooting at the end of shot clocks, but Wilson makes him pay. Jamil Wilson, that is, with the offensive rebound.
Kaminsky, Anderson swatting it away in a long-range 3 from Brust. And there's Decker with the rebound. That is number 7 for him. Well, he has been a terror on the boards the last couple of days. Matter of fact, had a double-double in that championship game in Mexico. As Gasser goes to the basket.
Now we're starting to see what Brad Autry was talking about. Marquette assistant saying the team that wins this game will be the team that rebounds better. And both sides getting after the offensive glass for some extra looks.
Devontae Gardner answers for Marquette. And you could see it in the body language of Buzz Williams. He got that quick timeout coming out of the second half after the Badgers scored a quick 7 points. And it reminds me of what we saw with Marquette against Ohio State. That was a tie game at the half, and Ohio State just blitzed them in the second half in a runaway win. Williams does not want to see that again.
Well, if they go inside the Gardner, I think that's the best offense right now. Come from there.
Brust jumps the lane. 2-on-1. Bill Brust misses the dunk. Jackson keeps it alive. Decker secures it. One up top. Kaminsky.
Frank the Tank. He's showing Ben Brust how it's done.
What's the old line about chicken salad?
I don't think anybody thought Brust was going to take off. He went for it. Instead, nice job of hustling. Good pass here to Kaminsky inside. Madison, Wisconsin leads 39-31. And an interesting sequence of events the last time down the court. Wisconsin running a little more. And you see Ben Brust just took off from a little too far away. Would have been a monster dunk. But how about the save from Trayvon Jackson and the good heads-up play? Not only is that a big momentum swing for Wisconsin, that's the 3rd foul on Jake Thomas. And with Todd Mayo now confirmed not going to play in this game, Marquette loses its best options in terms of 3-point shooting.
Kaminsky misses the free throw. He does have 6 of Wisconsin's 11 points in this second half. And the Mayo story gets larger and larger here. The fact that he will not play today. And that foul trouble continues to mount for Marquette. Violation of team rules if you're just picking us up for Todd Mayo. Gardner has 2 fouls. Thomas playing with 3.
I would think Gardner. I mean, Gardner wants to score anyway, but with Kaminsky and his 2 fouls defending, you would think you'd want to go into Gardner, Brian, just about every possession, let him get a look. He's a great offensive threat, and you might pick up a foul on Kaminsky.
Big possession defensively for Marquette. As they are down 8, Jackson thought he was bumped, but Gardner, 3-pointer by Brust. That's the second Brust has hit. And it's quickly an 11-point Wisconsin lead.
You know what's really nice about that play, too, is to see Gardner go to work. And that's why I say go to him just about every time if you're Marquette. But back to the last, Trayvon Jackson didn't force anything. He had a mismatch. As he's got one here, too. He feels quicker, like he can take those guys.
Pinned on the rim. So Brust count the basket on an assist from Trayvon Jackson on the goaltend.
It is hard. When you're Trayvon Jackson, Brian, you've got a big guy on you. That time it was Wilson. The time before it was Gardner. Your instinct is, I can beat this guy. Let me go to the hole. And instead, he has found a way to drive and kick and find a teammate who's open. Nice patience, nice heads-up play by Jackson.
Interesting that Gosser's matching up against Thomas. They've got Jackson with 2 fouls on Jamil Wilson. And Gardner backs down Decker. Otule, Gardner. And it's Jackson who comes away with it.
Again, that really big lineup here for Marquette.
Decker spins, blocked. Otule got a piece. Decker crashing in a little bit out of control. Now Gardner loses the ball. And a turnover for Marquette. The Badger guards hounding the big man.
Yeah, looked like Ben Russ just was able to disrupt things as he snuck in. Russ really a crafty player. Heads-up player. Senior on this team. He has already hit some big shots here in the second half and shown you some defense as well.
O'Ryan will bring Nigel Hayes back in. Koenig is in as well. He'll run the point. Douye Dukin on the floor as well. Burton returns for Marquette. Hayes had a nice first half. That ball's kicked.
See Wisconsin there just running a little half-court set, trying to make Marquette work and move. As James tired them out a little bit. You'll see Wisconsin at times they get very patient, will work the ball around. And defensively, you know you're in for it then. You're kind of in the grinder there, going through screens and trying to hustle. It can eat you away at the offensive end, too, when you get tired.
Buzz Williams saw a matchup he didn't like. Gardner's back in quickly, but Burton to return as Bruss misfires on the 3. Otule the board. And here come the Golden Eagles in transition. Wisconsin gets back very well. Thomas had to take it away. And it's Koenig. And Koenig gets it to Hayes. Oh, what a player he is. And you got to start to think the stat sheet's going to fill up for Koenig as he gets comfortable, but he is definitely making an impact on the games and the minutes he's playing.
Yeah, there's no doubt. I'm most surprised by his defense. It's been really good.
Wide open 3, short. Anderson the rebound, a foul underneath. It's on Otule, I believe. Back to Koenig.
See Koenig there. This was the reach-in. Able to knock it away, then get to the corner and make a heads-up pass. He probably would have just held on to that ball, not thrown it away, but he saw Hayes. Those two guys, 2 freshmen, are going to connect for years to come here at Wisconsin.
Bo Ryan, his Badger team, off to a 9-0 start, nation's longest winning streak. Their points are up, nearly 9 per game. A lot of young talent. They're doing things a little bit differently than they did last year. They were scoring a lot of points, but then in the last couple of games, they've been able to grind them out. They've won some low-scoring games. As Hayes all the way in. Oh, missed the button. Dukin, Otule, Wisconsin ball. It's all going right.
Yeah, great save by Dukin. Just a heads-up play there. Not a lot. I believe it came off of Otule. Watch Dukin here. Out of bounds. When you throw it right to the guy's knees like that, that's exactly where to go with the ball.
So Wisconsin gets another shot at it. And down on this side of the floor for a while here.
Now, you mentioned the pace of play for Wisconsin. I think this team for Wisconsin is comfortable playing fast or slow. I think you could even make an argument if this game gets going up and down. Wisconsin's got more weapons and actually might even be better suited to play up and down.
A bit of a role reversal for the 2 programs. O'Ryan says he's not afraid to play fast. He was in an up-tempo style at Platteville. And then, of course, he brought up his high school days when he was a player. Yeah. I wasn't quite sure where he was headed with that. But he said, yeah, well, you know, I was a guard. We played fast. Rust. And here's Wilson with a rebound. Marquette needs something. They're down 11. Derek Wilson. And he is fouled and counted. That is a big one for the Marquette point guard. As Koenig fouled him as he went by. Chance in 3.
Well, Wilson's got that speed to get inside. We've seen him continue to go in there. Hasn't had a ton of luck. Now he gets that one to fall and go to the free throw line. If he can get effective from 15 feet and in. You know, just able to get inside, maybe a little pull-up jump shot or a floater. He would provide some much-needed relief for this Marquette offense.
Just be some kind of offensive threat. Wilson was getting to the line a lot as Decker returns for Gosser. Wilson was getting to the line a lot early in the season. He has struggled from the free throw line. Just 12 for 22 on the year. Knocks that one down, and a three-point possession for Marquette. Dukin matched up by Burton.
Yeah, this is where Marquette in years past we've seen. Now that's exactly what we talked about to start the game, Brian, is the new rules emphasis. You cannot put your hands on people, and we've seen Marquette in years past really push Wisconsin out towards the half-court line. You see Burton trying to do it here. As soon as he gets a hand on him, that's going to be a foul this year.
You know, a little over a month into the season, and certainly referees have taken their brunt of it, but at this point, players are going to have to start making the adjustment.
There's no doubt.
It's not changing as Decker lets the three go. No, but Russ is there. The putback, no. Dukin the rebound, and somehow squeezes the basketball out of there.
And look at the size here that Marquette has on the floor, yet still Wisconsin is finding a way to keep that ball alive. Brust inside, getting the rebound and the putback.
And the reverse by Jackson with the right hand. Trayvon Jackson, a pretty move to the basket.
Jackson brings so much to this team. At times he may make some poor decisions, but in all, his leadership for this team is second to none.
8 points for Jackson. Foul trouble in the first half. Still playing with a couple of them.
Tell you what, if you judge point guards by our bad passes, I wouldn't have liked it. I know that much. I made plenty.
Jamil Wilson hits. Jamil Wilson. So Wilson now with 10 points. He got loose late in the first half.
And you see Wisconsin here. They are a real nice look.
Kaminsky returns the favor. That is quite a combo. Decker and Kaminsky. Dangerous. Both sides. Earlier it was Decker leaving it up for Kaminsky to start this second half. And Kaminsky says touche.
About that 4-5 combination.
Wisconsin off to a 9-0 start this season, trying to make it 10 straight to start the year. They have a 10-point lead. Bo Ryan, why he wins, Mike Kelly?
Well, there's a lot that goes into it. I think it starts with patience. He has four-year players. He teaches, he develops, he doesn't take shortcuts. From there, it's a consistent message. Anytime you step on campus, you're around Bo Ryan, you know what he wants as a player. You know what he expects of you. He's a fiery competitor, too. I don't think anybody outworks or is more prepared than Bo Ryan is. He breeds confidence. You watch his players. He doesn't yell at them for poor shots. They'll get in trouble. They'll get yanked for defense, not for shot selection. That's why they're so confident and natural leaders. Some people, you got to face it, some people are born to lead, and Bo Ryan is one of them. And the more time you spend around him, it is no secret why he is successful.
All-time winningest coach at the University of Wisconsin. As far as winning percentage goes among Big Ten coaches, he is second only behind Bob Knight. So he's one of the 9 that have won 300 games in the Big Ten, and second only to Bobby Knight in winning percentage. Jackson is fouled, and that's Gardner. He got him on the elbow. And Devontae Gardner, who is counted on for a ton of points, commits his 4th foul.
Nice heads-up play by Trayvon Jackson. You could see they were working that ball screen with Kaminsky to get the switch. And as soon as Gardner was on Jackson, Trayvon decided he was going to go to the hoop, try and pick up this foul.
I beg your pardon, Gardner's 3rd foul. Wisconsin by 10 with the basketball. Kaminsky's been a story in the second half. He's got O'Toole out there. Sends it to Duke. What it done for Wisconsin. Jamil Wilson, he'll go to the basket. Nice, beautiful move to the basket. Jamil Wilson.
Boy, the times that Jamil Wilson actually takes over and really hunts for his shot, he looks so good that it surprises you when there's long stretches in which he isn't involved in the offense.
You could tell Marquette needs a go-to guy right now, and Wilson could be that guy here. They need someone. 12 points for Jamil Wilson. Kaminsky had O'Toole on his hip pocket. Gets his own miss. Ball is loose on the floor, and Gasser comes away with it. Decker's open. Bang. One of the best in the country right there, Sam Decker.
Now, both these teams really work on 50-50 balls, trying to come up with those loose balls and make something of it. What a great job by Josh Gasser. They're not only getting it, but finding the open man.
Decker wanted it up top and loses it. And gets the death stare from Bo Ryan.
Well, you watch here. Just a nice job by Gasser. I thought Wayne Anderson might come up with it at first. Gasser able to knock it away and then find Decker in the corner. Feet set, little inside-out offense.
And the one thing about Sam Decker, you know, as these shots, as these plays start moving into the backbreaker territory for the opponent, that's when he seems like he's at his best.
That is for sure. He lives for the big moment.
The bench for Marquette, when that shot went in, you could just see him just deflate, heads down. It's an 11-point Wisconsin lead. Does Marquette have a rally in them today on the road at the Kohl Center? Burton and a foul, and it's short, but he'll go to the line.
The Wisconsin foul is on Nigel Hayes, his third
foul on Hayes. Sends the freshman Deontay Burton to the line. Don't forget, tomorrow Michigan State hosts the number 16 Wisconsin Badgers in Big Ten Wrestling. Coverage starts at 2 Eastern, 1 Central, presented by Cliff Keen Athletic, and it's on BTN and BTN to go.
You can see Nigel Hayes trying to force Burton to go right. Burton went there, but he's so strong. Even as a left-handed player, going right, able to get that ball up. Almost got in and one.
So it is a 9-point Wisconsin lead. Marquette has done a nice job from the free throw line. They've made 10 out of 11. Just help keep them in the game. Jackson misses, Burton the rebound. So here comes Marquette. Thomas, the three-point shooter, back in. Gardner matched up by Hayes, both playing with 3 fouls. And it's Gardner. I got away with a travel. And Decker comes away with a loose ball. And now Decker.
Burton's got to be careful not to pick up a cheap one there.
Yep. And finally a whistle, and that's going to be number 4 on Thomas. So a whistle. Buzz Williams will have to make a move here. We'll take a break. Badgers ball. On BTN is brought to you by State Farm. For auto, home, life, and banking, get to a better state. And by Jared, the Galleria of Jewelry. Truly unique designs that you won't find just anywhere. That's why he went to Jared. 75 miles of Interstate 94 connecting Marquette and the University of Wisconsin. Time for the Reese's Perfect Combination. Sam Decker and Trayvon Jackson today. Decker has been outstanding in this game.
Maybe even bigger than the 18 points is the 8 rebounds. So Sam Decker's worked on staying active on the glass, both offensively and defensively. He got some second chance opportunities here today. Trayvon Jackson, along with those 6 assists, it does not have any turnovers.
And Jackson playing with 2 fouls through the most of the first half. His minutes were limited. Bronson Koenig gave Bo Ryan some very good minutes in the first half while Jackson was protecting those fouls. Wisconsin ball, they lead by 9 and content to use some of the clock here. There's Decker, and he rises up. He's fouled. Burton got a piece of his hand. And Sam Decker going to the free throw line.
It's going to be 4 on Burton.
At the line for Badgers, Sam Decker.
All kind of foul trouble. Thomas is out with 4 fouls. Burton now with 4. And Sam Decker is 3 points away from matching his career best. This is his 19th point. Our full day of hoops continues next. Number 3, Ohio State taking on Central Connecticut. And then we'll close it out with Indiana and North Florida. Quadruple header of basketball today. Michigan won earlier today, handling Houston Baptist.
Brian, we saw that foul there on Burton as Sam Decker got to the elbow, and then the one thing he does so well, his release on his shot, because he's so big and he's got a high release, he's really hard to defend and bother a shot. You'll end up picking up a foul as Burton did.
So Burton's going to stay with 4 fouls, and he goes right to Decker, lost it, and Decker comes away with a basketball. Trayvon Jackson. Eyes up. Decker to Jackson, wide open for 3. And Wilson the rebound, a foul on Nigel Hayes. That's his 4th foul. That's going to bring Frank Kaminsky back in for Bo Ryan.
Well, I'll say this. I mean, it's not a lot of contact on that foul, but that's not the first over-the-back call we've seen. It's been fairly consistent. These refs are not wanting guys to go in over the back of anybody to try and get those rebounds. Very
physical game. Wisconsin was in the bonus with about 11 minutes remaining in the first half, and already in the bonus here in half number 2. What's the way back for Marquette in your mind?
You know, I watched Burton on that last play, almost forced something. You know, he's a guy that can score in bunches. Jamil Wilson is a guy, he's trying to post up Rust here.
And Wilson goes up and under. Pretty.
You have to think it's going to come from a guy like Jamil Wilson or Gardner if they can get going. The trouble with Gardner is he needs to be able to get that ball in a position to score down low, whereas Wilson can create something from the perimeter.
Under 6 minutes to play in regulation. Jamil Wilson has 8 points in this second half, and there's a whistle on Gardner. So Kaminsky takes him out toward the 3-point line, and Gardner has 4 fouls now and has been a non-factor in the second half.
That is his 4th. Jake Thomas has got 4. And yet again, you asked Brian about how they get back into this game. They're going to have to score some points and find a way to put the ball in the hoop, and they've got Todd Mayo, one of their best playmakers, shot makers at least, on the bench. Again, out, violation of team rules, will not play today.
A guy they count on for some outside shooting, some scoring, Todd Mayo, and he will not play. It's going to be a very interesting post-game press conference for Buzz Williams as Mayo continues to sit. Kaminsky has had a nice second half here. Kaminsky came out with 2 quick baskets. Jamil Wilson. Kaminsky went up high and a foul. Frank Kaminsky fouls him. And Wilson with free throws.
Well, you see Kaminsky come over. I thought he might get a foul originally. Watch here. I thought that was the foul. That's going to have to be what the foul was. It was just a late whistle. I thought there might have been more contact. That was all there was. Well, you got to stay on your feet as a defender. You leave the floor, you put yourself at risk.
O'Toole back in for Marquette. Gardner with his 4 fouls will take a seat. Jamil Wilson, 67% free throw shooter. Coming off a 9-point game in their loss at San Diego State. Marquette gets it back, and right back to Wilson they go. Gosser on him now. Side of the backboard. Anderson cleans it up.
Boy, Gosser did a pretty good job of bodying up on Wilson. But Juan Anderson just in the right spot at the right time, crashing the glass.
Marquette hanging in there. They're only down 9. Jackson goes right by Wilson. I think he was looking for the lob with Kaminsky. Decker gives it up. Unselfish, maybe too unselfish.
Yeah, too unselfish is right.
And now Kaminsky, nowhere to go. Good closeouts by Marquette. Tough shot. Boy, Wisconsin passed up a number of good looks. Wilson out to Wilson, no relation. And they whistle. That's a timeout. Buzz Williams matching the enthusiasm, trying to get Marquette with a quick burst to get back in this one.
Well, you like the extra pass from Wisconsin, but sometimes you're passing up too many good looks. There was the missed lob opportunity. Gosser had a chance here. This was the shot. I think Decker goes up. He's not going to be challenged. Jackson had a chance. And now you got in a situation where it's end of shot clock, and Kaminsky is in a bad spot. He had a double team on him at the three-point line, tried to make something happen.
Now, Wisconsin has assisted on 13 occasions. Haven't seen much ball movement, at least that have resulted in the scoring for Marquette. Just 3 assists so far for the Golden Eagles.
Yeah, that's not enough. They've got to find a way. Now, Gardner's the guy who's going to take his time down in the post and score without necessarily an assist. But the rest of those guys from Marquette, especially Wilson's got to be someone, Derek Wilson that is, that can create and drop it down for somebody else.
Just 3 assists on 17 made baskets for Buzz Williams' team.
I believe Jamil Wilson has got all 3 of those from Marquette. No assists from anybody other than Jamil Wilson.
That's correct. Big possession here for Marquette. They got a chance. Down 9, 4.5 remaining in regulation. Marquette has only led once in this game. That was 10-9 early in the first half. Boy, Anderson missed. Had a good look at it, too.
Nice rebound there by Decker, clearing out. Here's where Wisconsin now, with 4:13 left, they will continue to run good offense. Use a lot of that shot clock if they can.
Wisconsin's largest lead, 11. Can get back there with a basket here. Maybe more. Brooks for 3. No. Derek Wilson. Wilson finds Juan Anderson as he knifes in. No, but the putback is there. Jamil Wilson with a putback. And Marquette keeping in shouting distance here. They are only down 7 with 3:44 remaining.
Now, in several of Marquette's losses, they have been very close at the under 4-minute media timeout in the second half. Here they are down 7 now, trying to find a way. Buzz has talked to his team about closing out games, and you can see him trying to infuse some energy into his team. And Bo countering that for the Wisconsin side.
Well, Wisconsin had an 11-point lead. They're hoping to climb in the charts, coming in at number 9 in the country. Michigan State still the top team in the country. Might slip. Ohio State, they'll be on after us today. They're at number 3. Now remember, Baylor beat Kentucky yesterday. So there's going to be some movement in the top 25, and the Big Ten with 6 teams in the top 25. Another very powerful conference.
Yet again, last year was phenomenal. Almost unprecedented strength of the conference.
Michigan State losing at home to North Carolina in the Big Ten ACC Challenge. Only 2 road teams won in that event. Wisconsin won on the road at Virginia, and North Carolina in East Lansing. Here's Gosser, jump stop, got it. Big basket, Josh Gosser.
And huge with the follow-through from Gosser. The only way he makes that basket is with a perfect follow-through, because he was going away from the hoop when he shot it.
Missed all of last year, knee surgeries, come back as strong as ever. And that tells you he must have just dominated his rehab. As Anderson misfires on a 3. O'Toole, offensive board, got it, foul! Chris O'Toole, a chance for 3. So Marquette hanging in there. O'Toole's got a chance to make it a 3-point play when we come back.
Done out there. I'm Mike Hall here in Indianapolis, and we got a lot of fans behind us. We're at the Fan Fest in the Indianapolis Convention Center, getting ready for the football game, which kicks off at 8:17 on Fox. Coverage starts at 7:30 over there. When this game is done, stick around on BTN. You got another basketball game, but in between them, we're going to have some Spartan experts talk about football. Brian?
All right, Mike, thanks. Wisconsin with a 7-point lead. Free throw coming up for Marquette, Chris O'Toole. Let's take a look at the State Farm state of success. Wisconsin trying to go to 10-0. This 9-0 start is the best since the Stu Jackson-led Badgers of 93 and 94. Michael Finley. That team was the first to go to the NCAA tournament since 1947 here in Madison, and now that seems almost like a given, especially in the Bo Ryan era. It's happened every year.
Yeah, and maybe the most impressive part about that 9-0 is the opponent's record. I mean, this is a 9-0 and a very impressive 9-0. They're not playing cupcakes.
O'Toole caps off a three-point play. That's a big one for Marquette. They are down 6, just under 3 minutes remaining. Wisconsin had an 11-point lead. Marquette in all kinds of foul trouble and doing most of this without Devontae Gardner, who is on the bench with 4 fouls. Soon to be checking back in.
And Wisconsin content right now to work the shot clock and make sure they get a good look every time.
Jackson, it was bothered by O'Toole. And here comes Marquette. Down 6, 2:20 left. Thomas plays with 4 fouls.
Gossett really chasing Thomas around.
And it's Decker who ends up on Wilson, who drops a huge 3. Jamil Wilson makes it a 3-point ball game. 17 points for Jamil Wilson.
Now we'll see if that changes anything here offensively for Wisconsin. You can see the energy right now from Marquette. They have definitely ramped it up.
Jackson kicks it back. Kaminsky for 3. Kaminsky answers.
That is so tough. Jackson wanted to get him the whole way. Kaminsky deadly with the 2-man game. He's just so good from 3, Brian, that you cannot leave him. You want to help off on the guard, and Kaminsky can space and knock down that shot.
Shoots over 41% from behind the arc. He has 11 points, and they have all come in half number 2.
You see Jake Thomas there passing up an opportunity. Gossett giving him nothing. But Jamil Wilson, the guy who just rises and fires from Marquette. And how about this answer from Kaminsky? That is a huge look. I like the way they set that ball screen, top of the key, for a dead-on look for Kaminsky.
Marquette got it to within 3. Big 3 by Kaminsky. Pushes it to 6. Marquette ball. Minute 18 remaining. Don't forget, number 3 Ohio State at home against Central Connecticut coming up. Buckeyes rolling as well, still undefeated. Ohio State beat Marquette just a couple of weekends ago.
That was a grinder of a game, wasn't it?
And Ohio State really turned on the Jets in the second half.
Between Aaron Kraft and Shannon Scott, those 2 guys are going to give teams fits all year.
Buzz Williams drawing up a play. Trying to get Marquette on the board. Sam Decker, his second career double-double today.
Yep, we've seen him stay active, not only in scoring. We've seen that before, and we've seen this, but getting on the glass, getting the rebounds, teammates finding him, realizing he's got the hot hand. And Sam Decker has put his team on his shoulders at times here in this game, and they continue to knock down big shots.
20 points, 10 rebounds, 7 of 11 shooting. He's hit 3 threes. But the emphasis right now is on the Marquette offense. Down 6 with a minute 18 to go. They come to their feet at the Kohl Center.
They want Wilson with the ball right here.
And Wilson for 3. No. Rebound Jackson. Ben Bruss cleared the way for him. Going under a minute. And there's the foul. So that'll send Jackson to the free throw line.
Like Jamil Wilson, you go back to that free, Brian. Looked like he was trying to draw a lot of contact. You watch him come off as he rises, his feet go out. He tried to sell it. You wonder if that affected the rotation of the shot, if you just go up to shoot versus trying to get the foul and the shot.
A little Reggie Miller
Yeah, that's right.
effort there.
That's
Jackson
right.
hits a big free throw. there are very few players in the country that have delivered in the clutch as often as Trayvon Jackson over the last couple of years, and he knocks down 2 big ones. Marquette's got to go fast. That'll be Juan Anderson for 3. Way short air ball, and Wisconsin ball.
I think Buzz still talking about the 3 from Jamil Wilson. 2 possessions ago, he really wanted that foul.
And Jackson will push it. There are the fouls. And I believe he got Thomas, which will be his 5th. So Jackson back to the free throw line. And Buzz Williams, now in his 6th season, 3-2 against Wisconsin in his career. Marquette's won the last 2 matchups.
Well, and we talked about part of the recipe for success for Marquette was getting on the glass and also being able to disrupt what Wisconsin wanted to do offensively. And I don't think they've done that. I don't think they've been able, in that typical Marquette style, to stop Wisconsin from ball rotation, from getting good looks. Brad Autry talked about so many different weapons for Wisconsin. So many, just about everybody on the floor right now can shoot threes at a really good clip. So which one are you going to stop? Who are you going to take away? And that's really the tough spot. Buzz Williams really with a long talk here. The referees.
He's close to a whistle as well. Bo Borowski in there. There's the governor, Scott Walker, in attendance today.
Replacing Thomas, number 5, Johnson.
And free throws coming up. Thomas fouls out. Marquette will have another week off. They will play next on Saturday. They've got finals coming up next week. IUPUI will be at the Bradley Center. And Jackson misses. Door slightly open. 8-point deficit for Marquette. Got to get something up quick. Wilson does. Got it. 3-pointer, Jamil Wilson. What a half. 20 points for Jamil Wilson today, as Brust is fouled.
Brust, another of the many good free throw shooters on his team. He's at 95% from the line. Marquette wasting no time getting that foul, not wanting to let any time run off the clock, not even trying to get a steal.
Brust, an excellent free throw shooter. His first attempt of the day. He is 19 for 20 at the free throw line this year. Knocks it down.
And for all the foul trouble there was in the first half for both sides, Wisconsin with just 5 fouls here in the second half did a really nice job of keeping the hands off.
12 points for Ben Brust. Make it 13. And the lead is 7. Wilson spins. Got it. Continues to add to his point total. A 5-point game. 22 now for Wilson. And Trayvon Jackson will head to the free throw line.
I believe they're going to get Anderson for this.
Anderson, his 4th.
That's making the most of your minutes right there.
Anderson's been pretty active. He's a good rebounder. They really like his rebounding abilities. Got that great length, had a nice steal and finish early in the game.
Trayvon Jackson trying to add to the Wisconsin lead. No problem. Jackson over 70% from the free throw line. And Mike, you pointed it out about halfway through the second half. Who was going to be that scorer? And Jamil Wilson appeared to be that guy, needed to be that guy. He's on this big burst here in the second half as Jackson fouls Eric Wilson.
Not a terrible foul. They only have 5. I just mentioned they only had 5 team fouls. So you can give that up and not put Marquette on the line. Take them out of their rhythm.
You know, one thing leads to a next. You never know how a game plays out. But the kind of intensity, the ball going through Jamil Wilson maybe earlier in the second half might have made a difference, especially with Gardner in foul trouble.
Yeah, there's no doubt he's got the ability. Now he's got to find a way to do it consistently in game.
Juan Anderson hits a 3.
3-point basket is good by Anderson.
They're going to check if that was a 3 or a 2.
One official calling it a 2. The other 2 had it as a 3-pointer. And let's take a look here. It's the white line, and that was close.
That was very close.
And they can go to the monitor to take a look at that, especially as we get under 2 minutes.
It's going to be hard to get a definitive look if that's those are the best looks that we have at it. It's amazing how many times this will happen in a game. I really love the new rule now that they'll go to throughout the entire game. They will signal to the scores table that we want to review that, but they won't stop the play. Only in the last 4 minutes will they actually stop the play immediately to decide if it was a 3 or a 2.
And then it falls into the category, is it enough to overturn? And Tom Eads says it is, and he'll call that a 2-pointer. So a reversal, not a 3, just a 2. 16.2 remaining in a 5-point game. Gosser will shoot free throws.
That's going to be it for Anderson.
Wrapping up here in Madison, the Buckeyes are coming up next, hosting Central Connecticut. Don't forget, Big Ten football championship on Fox tonight. Ohio State football, Michigan State, that'll be a dandy. And our crew is in Indianapolis at FanFest, providing coverage pre and post. Great day of sports all throughout the Big Ten today.
Like Gardner's going to come in. This is the second time now that Buzz Williams has been able to extend the extra timeout essentially you get for a disqualification. You get so long to do it. And Buzz finding a way to crafty veteran moves.
What a contrast to Bo Ryan, Buzz Williams. I mean, nobody wears out the grease board like
right.
Buzz Williams. Bo Ryan rarely.
He doesn't have a grease board. No, he doesn't
never
use
seen
it.
him use one.
I don't know of any other coach that does that. But that is really a testament to what Bo Ryan does. The fact that he can get his guy. I mean, his teams are known for discipline and running the plays and not making mental errors. But he's on the sideline. He doesn't feel the need to draw up those plays.
Big free throws made for Wisconsin down the stretch, and that's why they've been able to maintain this lead. And it's coming to a close on Marquette. Gardner will take a 3. He's got it. Devontae Gardner, big man, drops a 3, and with 5.4 remaining, Gosser goes back to the free throw line.
That's the second three-pointer that Gardner's made this year. He was 1 for 6 coming into the game. He's got a soft touch. You see a nice release here. Well, surprised Jamil Wilson, that is, didn't take a top of the key look, but he knew his teammate was wide open on the wing.
16 points for Gardner. Most of that coming in the first half, or the impact points coming in the first half, playing with 4 fouls in this second half. Wisconsin has been money from the free throw line. From the free throw line.
If you think about the struggles they had last year, too, as a team, really had a hard time knocking it down from the free throw line this year. Quite a reversal.
One more shot. Wilson, no, and that's that. And Wisconsin snaps the streak. Buzz Williams, Bo Ryan come together. And the Wisconsin Badgers snap their 2-game losing streak to their in-state rivals. And a 70-64 win here today. Coming up next, Central Connecticut State, and Ohio State. This has been an exclusive presentation of the Big Ten Network. For Mike Kelly, I'm Brian Anderson saying so long from Madison. Now let's go to Indianapolis and Mike Hall for a Big Ten game break.